Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to the Spirit of Vinyl. I'm Craig. Hope you guys are all doing well. Well, this week's episode is a milestone episode. It's been 1 year since I started my channel. As of like tomorrow, I think the first time I put it out, put out my first like 3 episodes. I had pre-recorded. I was on like the 19th of October of 2023. So it's been a year since I've been doing this, and I think I'm about 90 videos in, right around there somewhere. So it's a milestone. So I want to thank all you guys for coming. Before we get really started, I want to do some thank yous for some people. I got some notes here so I don't forget. Um, First of all, I'd like to thank Francis. I think it's Coacher. That's my guess. Francis, you can tell me if I got that right or not. Francis was like my first sub, and he's not a content creator, but he was the first person to sub, and he comments on every single one of my videos. He was the first guy to sub to my channel, and he started commenting right away, and he's always just been very supportive right from the beginning. So Francis, thank you very much. Next, I'd like to thank Mike, MGK Boston. Mike found my channel early on and did his thing where he, prints up a picture and holds it up to the camera and told his followers to go give me a look-see or whatever. And that kind of got me going in this community. So I really appreciate that, Mike. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to thank Steve, the much missed Steve from All the Worlds of Stage, who also did the same thing Mike did, kind of spread the word about me a little bit, and put me on Sunday Night Vinyl Confessions one time, and was always, nice to give advice and everything else to kind of help me through what I was doing and so on. He was really helpful, and we're all sad to see that Steve decided to shut down his channel and move on to bigger and better things. But if you are watching, thank you much, Steve. Next person, Vinyl Richie. Vinyl Richie found me and told his some thousands of followers that he would not do another video until I hit 100 followers. I remember that day just coming home and I had all these things from YouTube, all these notifications show me. I was like, what is going on here, man? I check it and I've got all these comments. Hey, Vinyl Richie told me to come check you out. Vinyl Richie told me to come check you out. And I went from like 50 to 100 in like a day and a half, because Vinyl Richie threw it out there. That's exactly what he said. I'm not doing another video until Craig has 100 followers. So thanks, Richie. I really, really appreciate that. Trevor, Flat Round and Spun, thank you for all your support throughout the year. Same with Anthony Gambler, Market Twangers Turntable. Thank you all. I also want to thank one of my new followers, Dimebag Dave. He's always commenting and having some cool comments and stuff. Seems like a pretty cool guy. So I just wanted to get all that out there. Thank all of those guys, and thank all of you who are watching right now. Who knew? When I started doing this, I thought, I'm just going to talk about records, and if 5 people pay attention or if 1 person pays attention, that's all I care about. And now it's been a year. I've got 196 subs, and I get 40 or 50 people or sometimes more. My Megadeth video a few weeks back has 300 views or whatever. So I really appreciate everything you're doing. So it's the anniversary of the Spirit of Vinyl. So in that theme, what I want to do is I looked up albums that came out within the last week from the 12th to the 18th of October that were released at that time frame to see what I had in my collection. So I'm going to show you those records because they're all having anniversaries also this week. So it's an anniversary for the Spirit of Vinyl, and it's an anniversary for all these records. So first, I'm going to start 1979. Motorhead releases Bomber on October 12th, 1979. Bomber from Motorhead. The killer album, Dead Men Tell No Tales, Sweet Revenge. This is great. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of info on any of these records because, like I said, well, I didn't say that, but there's a lot. Actually, there was a lot more that were released in October than I would have thought of. So I didn't even show them all. I had to pick some out because if not, we'd be here all night. So Bomber, 1979, October 12th. Also on October 12th, 1981, Iron Maiden Killers comes out. This album is freaking tremendous. One of my favorites. I love the first two Maiden albums. I dig this album a lot. I think this is a great record. Paul Di'Anno, a great singer, and I understand Iron Maiden blew up when they got Bruce Dickinson, but these first two Maiden albums are something else, man. Just raw, kind of punky sounding, just really cool early new wave of British heavy metal type sounds. So that was from 81. Also on October 12th, 1983, Ronnie James Dio's debut solo album comes out, Holy Diver. What can be said about this album that hasn't already been said? Everybody's, this is a killer record. Yes, I only had the picture disc. This is a Record Store Day release from a few years back. Sounds pretty good for a picture disc, honestly. I mean, I can't really tell a whole lot. I've never really had a picture disc that sounded shitty, Of course, I don't have any like old ones. So, Holy Diver, great record, iconic. In my opinion, Dio had been in Rainbow, and he was in Sabbath, but this album really cemented him as the icon that he became. All right, so now we're going to move on to the 13th of October, 1978, AC/DC, If You Want Blood. This is a great album, all tracks recorded live during the 1978 World Tour. So, live album, Riff Raff, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, The Jack, Problem Child, Whole Lot of Rosie, High Voltage, on and on and on. Full of hits, full of Bon Scott stuff. Great record right here. AC/DC, If You Want Blood, October 13th, 1978. All right, moving on. October 13th, 1982, the hottest band in the world released Creatures of the Night. I've talked about this before. Ace is on the cover. Ace isn't on this record. Vinnie Vincent's first album, essentially first album with Kiss, not his first one he was credited with. His name is on the songwriting titles. They split that up between him and Ace, even though Ace it's come out later, never played a note. And if you really listen to this, you can tell that's Vinnie Vincent playing guitar. This is a good, heavy, hard rock album. Great stuff. 1982, Kiss, Creatures of the Night. Okay. Also on October 13th, 1986, Kiss Animalize comes out. This is 2 albums later. Vinnie Vincent's now out of the band, and Mark St. John is playing guitar on this record, and Bruce Kulick is also playing guitar on this record, although he is uncredited. But as we learn more and more about what was going on in the history of Kiss at the time, that Bruce Kulick did play some of the songs on here also, and ultimately ended up joining the band during this tour. Mark St. John supposedly had some hand issues or whatever, but this is very cool stuff. Good ripping guitar work, completely different than the way Ace played, slightly different than the way Vinnie played. Not quite as shreddy, but still some very cool stuff on this record. Okay, now moving on to the 14th of October, 1966. Rolling Stones' Aftermath comes out. Really cool stuff. I like this one a lot. I just talked about this one recently when I did my Rolling Stones episode. It starts off with Paint It Black. The fact that it has Paint It Black on it is enough for me to buy this record. One of my favorite Stones songs. This is a great album. 1966, Aftermath for the Rolling Stones. All right, moving on, 1970. Black Sabbath, Paranoid. Second album, iconic. I think highest charting record they ever had, or the best selling record they've ever had. What can you say about Paranoid? It is a classic. It is one of those records that's just iconic. It really is. This album, and of course the first Black Sabbath album, but this album really cements them. Really great stuff right here. Cool, doomy type stuff on here. War Pigs and Paranoid, Planet Caravan, Iron Man. That's only side one. So great record. All of us who are into metal, we all have this record, man. I would assume everybody's got this. But all of us metal guys, we all, got to have Paranoid in the collection. So that's from 1970. Moving on, 1977. Guess what I'm showing now? Kiss, Alive 2. This is a great live album. Kiss Alive is also iconic, but this album here, I love this. This is basically They did a live, then they did 3 studio albums, then they did a live 2. There's no repeats from a live 1 that are on this record. And then side 4 is studio tracks. Side 4, this is all studio tracks, and there's some cool songs on there. Remake of Any Way You Want It from the Dave Clark 5, and it's got Rocket Ride, and it's got Larger Than Life and All American Man. All those, I love side 4 of this record. This whole record, I think the live stuff is great, but side 4, the studio tracks are great. I mean, it really is, a really great Kiss album all the way around. All right, still sticking with the 14th, 1983, Iron Maiden, Peace of Mind. This is the second album with Bruce Dickinson, and this is probably my favorite Dickinson Maiden album. Everybody talks about, Number of the Beast. I think this is a better record. Honestly, I think this is a better record. I love this album. Probably my favorite Bruce Dickinson Iron Maiden album. Peace of Mind, Where Eagles Dare, Revelations, Flight of Icarus, Die With Your Boots On, The Trooper, Quest for Fire. I mean, this is a killer record right here. Iron Maiden they're tight, and they've got it down right now, and they really do. And they've gotten more comfortable with Bruce. You can tell that when you listen to this compared to Number of the Beast, which is also a great record, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they really gelling really good on this record. Also from 1983, same day, October 14th, 1983, Lick It Up. So now we're going back in time. So Kiss released 3 albums in 3 years, all in October, 1 on the 13th, 2 on the 14th. So this is the first one that's credited with Vinnie Vincent. This is the first unmasked Kiss album, and I love this record. I actually just listened to this the other night. This is good, heavy, grungy sounding, sometimes just sleazy, just cool 80s metal. It really is a really heavy Kiss record. It's really heavy. Once Eric joined the band, Creatures of the Night, and then this, and of course Animalize is after this, it's all really good, heavy stuff. It's, so I think this era of Kiss is, I've said that in the past that, the non-makeup era and that era of Kiss is probably my favorite era. Of course, this is the age when I got into this band when I was younger. Kiss, this is the first album that they had released. When I first got into Kiss, the next album that came out was this album. So, of course, I'd been listening to the earlier stuff before this came out. And I remember the Unmasking and all of that. So, first concert I ever saw was on this tour. So with Riot and Vandenberg. So this album is special to me. One of my favorites. And it's just something, it's about the spirit of it, the spirit of the vinyl, and the spirit of what this means to me for what it did for me when it introduced me to music and so on. So Kiss, Look It Up, 1983, October 14th. All right, now we're going to go on to the 15th, 1984, October 15th, Metallica, Ride the Lightning. Second album, Fight Fire with Fire, Ride the Lightning, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black. This record, of course, Metallica didn't really blow up until later, but as you go back and listen to this, man, this is such good stuff. Cliff Burton's bass on here is just unbelievable. This is just really, really great stuff, So one of my favorites. It's hard to pick a favorite Metallica album. It really is. A lot of people, will go right to Master of Puppets because it's iconic, but this album is right up there with it, in my opinion. So Ride the Lightning comes out on October 15th of 1984. Also on the 15th, 1991, debut album from Alice in Chains, Facelift. This is what introduces us to this band. And I can't say I was hooked on Alice in Chains at the beginning. I got hooked on Alice in Chains later when I saw them live. I saw them open for Slayer, Anthrax, and Megadeth on what was called the Clash of the Titans tour, and that's when I really got hooked on Alice in Chains. I mean, I was digging Man in the Box, which is all we really knew about them, but when I saw them, I've been a fan ever since. This is a great record. Ain't Like That, Sunshine Puts You Down, Confusion, Real Thing. I mean, this is good stuff right here. This is a great record. So, October 15th, 1991. All right, so now we're going to go to the 16th, 1986, Cinderella, second album, Long Cold Winter. What can be said about this that I haven't already said? Bad Seamstress Blues, Gypsy Road, Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. Just a great bluesy rock album. You know, Cinderella gets grouped in with the 80s glam type metal because of the time frame or whatever, but they do not sound like those other bands. This is a very cool album, very bluesy, cool rock and roll. Tom Kiefer's voice is something that's, you know, just stands out. It's just its own thing. I love this record. This is great stuff right here. So that came out in 1986. Also on the 16th, Pantera's Reinventing the Steel. Not my favorite Pantera album, but still good stuff. I mean, Pantera was doing something that nobody else was really doing at that time. Honestly, I think bands like Pantera, other bands were kind of doing the same thing, but I think a band like Pantera kind of saved metal, because by the time this comes out this is in 1999, so nu metal hadn't really exploded quite yet. And, you know, it was really close or whatever. It was getting close. I guess it was late 90s. So you have nu metal happening. This is more of a groove metal sound. And you had grunge was huge and it killed the 80s metal sound. But Pantera, I think, brought metal back to the mainstream, I guess you'd say. So this is a great record. Death Range, Uplift, Cast a Shadow. It's not my favorite, but I still like this one a lot too. So that was from 1999. All right, moving on to the 17th, 1989, Kiss Hot in the Shade. I'm a Kiss fan. I've just shown you a whole bunch of Kiss albums. I can't help it. They all came out in October. This record, I think, kind of gets ignored. This is a really good record, like I said. And this came out the 17th. So its birthday was yesterday as I record this. This is cool stuff. Cadillac Dreams and The Streets Giveth and Take Away. You Love Me to Hate You. Just really cool stuff. Gene's voice is, you know, at top form. Bruce's guitar playing is excellent on this record. Eric's drumming is excellent on this record. This is an overlooked Kiss album. It really is. It kind of gets forgotten about. People who are Kiss fans who like the makeup era, they don't pay attention to this. This is right at the end of the non-makeup era. They only do one more record. Well, they do two technically before they put the makeup back on. But this, man, this is a great record. I saw them on this tour too. Second row center. I'll never forget it. This is a great time. This is a great record. So if you haven't heard it or whatever, give it a chance, man. This is a really good rock album. It really is. And also on the 17th, 1995, Cryptic Writings from Megadeth. This is another great Megadeth album. It's, you know, just that classic lineup. And I'm a huge Megadeth fan, in case you can't tell from the poster that's over my head right there. You know, rest in peace. Besides Kiss, Megadeth is my favorite band. I would say is my favorite band after Kiss for sure. You know, and then, you know, I got some other bands, but when it comes to all time, it's Megadeth and it's Kiss. And I can't say anything bad about any Megadeth album. I don't care what people say. I love this record. Good stuff. So 1995. And in October 17th in the year 2000, Limp Bizkit released Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water. Limp Bizkit, this is more my kid. This is actually my kid's record, something he had bought. Limp Bizkit I really do. And the more I listen to the records, the more I like them. But in the beginning, you know, it was just Limp Bizkit. It was radio stuff, and, you know, Break Stuff was a cool song. And, you know, some of the songs they did were cool. But the more I listened to this, and I really listened to it and really listened to Wes Borland's guitar playing, excellent guitar player, great album. 2000, I can't believe it's been that long since Limp Bizkit came out, or this isn't even their first record. But yeah, this is a pretty good record. It really is. So a lot of people, you know, Limp Bizkit has some bad reputation or whatever, but just give them a listen. They're actually very experimental. It's metal, but it can be very experimental at times. Wes Borland is just a great guitar player. He's doing all kinds of weird stuff with it, making it make sounds. It's very, very good. I can't recommend him enough. So that's from the year 2000. And I've got one more. Today, October 18th, 1984, AC/DC releases 74 Jailbreak, which is an EP, only has 5 songs on it. Jailbreak, You Ain't Got a Hold on Me, Show Business, Soul Stripper, and Baby Please Don't Go. Most of those songs are on other records. So, but yeah, this is cool. I like this. They released this in 84, kind of, I think, to remind us of what Bon Scott was. Because, back to showing kind of back to the roots or whatever. So I like it. Only 5 songs. Great little EP to throw on when you don't have much time. So, and it's AC/DC. So what can you say? So all those records had anniversaries this week. Other ones I had in here that I didn't really have time to go through or whatever. Evil Empire, Led Zeppelin self-titled, Jethro Tull's War Child, She's So Unusual by Cyndi Lauper, Live After Death came out today, Blood In, Blood Out from Exodus came out in 14. That's pretty much all I didn't show. So had them on the list here. I just God, had a stack of records. So anyway, that's it. That's the anniversary show. I want to thank all of you who've been watching me for the last year, all of my subs and all the people who comment and everything else. I really appreciate it. This is very therapeutic for me to come and talk about music and talk about records. I've been married for 17 years. My wife is sick of hearing about it. My kid, of course, we can talk music all day long, but, he's also 19 years old and has other things to do. So, and with you guys out there watching and commenting and everything else, it's almost like therapy for me to be able to discuss what I love with the people I know here in the vinyl community. So thank you all very, very much. I will talk to you all next week. You guys all have a wonderful time out there, and we will see you later.